Thank you, Mayor. Let me get my agenda for this meeting. Okay. Item number 1 is an appropriation request from the general fund year-end carry-forward balance, the sum of $9,365.40 to be used to repair the air conditioning system here at City Hall. Mayor, we had talked about at the last meeting about getting some bids or quotes on a completely new system. How does that tie in with this request here before us this evening?
Yes, I would ask that we table this request at this time. We have gotten one quote in from a vendor, and we have 2 more that we requested quotes from. I would like to get all that information together and present to the council in the October meeting for
Okay.
consideration.
I move for the tabling of item number 1,
Second.
and there is a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of tabling item number 1 say aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I've just gotten a request. We are televising this meeting. Would everyone please make sure you use your mic whenever you speak? Thank you.
Items number 2 and 2A. 2 is consideration of a resolution levying millage taxes on all property in the city of Russellville at .52 mils. Point 2A is the same, but at .54 mils. Who do we have that can speak to these items?
Mr. Chair, I'll let Robin answer any questions that the committee may have, but I just would like to point out for the record that we currently have a millage of .44, I believe, that is sunsetting because the police fund was fully funded. They transferred over to lot fee, and we are not asking for that millage to be renewed. So that would equate, Ms. Johnson, to how much a year on a $100,000 home?
They're going to be saving $40 a year on a $100,000 home by dropping that .4 millage.
Just to the 5.2 for the fireman's retirement.
And 5.2 for the firemen, I'm requesting that we increase it to 5.54. The reason being is the fire pension is still not completely funded, and so it's running, it's not actuarially sound. The more we pay into that, the sooner that the city will be paid off on their obligation. And that would mean that an individual on a $100,000 home would actually see a decrease in their taxes in 2021 of $38 instead of $40. So it's a $2 difference, but it makes up, the city is obligated to make these pensions whole.
So by going with the 5.54, the taxpayer's burden is a little bitty bit less, but we actually bring in a little bit more. Is that correct? If I
Yes, sir.
understand that right? Okay. Is there a motion on items number 2 or 2A? I move for the approval, or I move that we forward to the council with a recommendation of approval, item number 2A.
I second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
When is the deadline where we let the county know? Is it in our October meeting?
That's correct. I'm just pushing it ahead because we knew about it and I wanted to get it handled earlier so that we could notify them quickly.
And this would go into effect when?
January 1st.
January 1st. 2021. Okay. Is there any further discussion on item number 2A? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to do 3 a little bit separate from 3A. Number 3 is consideration of a resolution repealing resolution number 1835, which had to do with that propeller business there at the airport. This, I believe, repeals the contract that we have with them since they have decided not to locate, for reasons all their own, have decided not to locate in Russellville. And I move that we forward to the council with a recommendation to approve item number 3.
I second that.
Okay, is there any discussion on item number 3? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 3A is a reverse appropriation, which we had previously appropriated $50,000 for the renovations out there at the airport for this particular company, and since that company is not coming to Russellville, we no longer need to have the appropriation for those changes out there. So this puts the $50,000 back where we were going to take it from. And I move that we forward to the council with a recommendation to approve item number 3A.
Second that, but they should be together, I think.
Well, until we repealed the resolution, we couldn't hardly repeal or put the money back in the account. But is there any discussion on item number 3A? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, submitted by Glenn Newman, is discussion of the City Court Basin 23 wastewater improvement project. Mr. Newman.
Thank you, Mr. Westcott and council members. This is just a discussion item, so you'll have an opportunity between now and the next meeting. We'll present you some backup material, invoices, and city core information on this project. But what I'm bringing forth is during the project, this wastewater project that is a city core downtown project, which y'all may have noticed near the city hall that's been ongoing. We worked with City Corps to reduce their overall expense by allowing them to utilize the city's asphalt bid quantity, the contract year price. So we've been partnering with them to do that work. And so we have paid for the asphalt that's been placed down, and we have sent them invoices to reimburse us, which they, last council meeting last night, they'll be sending the money to us here shortly. Then we'll need to reappropriate the asphalt overlay funds back into our account so we can spend those on the other city overlay projects. And also the other portion here, I don't have detailed, but the 16th Street repair or overlay that was going on, one half of the street was paid for by the city, and the other half was paid for by City Corp, and the same thing, that'll be reimbursed and put back in the appropriate funds so we can spend that on our overlay program and our striping.
Good.
So we'll prepare a packet for y'all. Y'all have more time. Didn't want to present it to you quickly, but we just want to get on the agenda if you had any questions between now and the next meeting.
Do you have any need for this particular item to be moved forward, or can it stay right here in committee for a while?
I believe committee until next.
Okay. Is there any comments from the committee on item number 4? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 5 while you're up there, Mr. Newman. Is discussion regarding the Prairie Creek land purchase issue?
Yes, sir. I believe the mayor may have distributed a document to the council members.
Yeah.
It may be in front of you. Yes, sir. The appraisal. You may be familiar, I think at the last council meeting, there was discussion about one of the parcels that will be in the Prairie Creek project. We were looking at expediting this purchase, and at that time, we were unsure of the value of the property. I'd contacted the appraisal and had them work that in. He came approximately 2 weeks ago, right before the storm, met with the property owner, and evaluated the site, and we received his appraisal today. And I know it's short notice providing this information in front of you, but we were trying not to delay another month and giving you this information in front of you. So what we have in front of you is the appraisal for the property for the Burst Management LLC at 304 North Arkansas Avenue. And what we'd like for discussion consideration is the value of the entire parcel is $426,000. That's the value of the current property. And if the city wishes to purchase that, that is the entire price that we would pay for the property there. This property is consumed with easements for the Prairie Creek project, and the value of the easements and the temporary use during construction to tear down the building to facilitate the construction is approximately $319,449 is what we have here, and that would be what the Corps of Engineers would give us credit for on the project in the joint venture. Anything beyond that amount would be what the city would be liable for that we wouldn't get reimbursement for. So I was bringing this all back in front of the council for consideration, for discussion on how they want to proceed with the property. I know the property owner's here today, and I think they expressed their desire in the past that they would desire the city to consider the entire purchase of the property. And the remaining portion that would not be consumed by easements, majority of it is in a floodway, and all of it is in a flood zone.
So, Mr. Newman, if I understand this correctly, the $319,449, that is what we would pay for the easements to that property. The current property owner would still retain ownership of the property.
That is
At
correct.
426, the city would own the property.
That is correct.
So a difference of 106,551, and the entire property in question belongs then to the city.
That is correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I might add, and Mr. Newman has already expressed this, the property owners are here today, Mr. and Mrs. Burris, but they have, they have stated today that they would prefer the city purchase the property rather than go with the easement. And there's a couple reasons for that, but one is the fact that Mr. Burris and Mrs. Burris both have expressed to me that have their passion and love for the city, and they feel like it would be in the best interest of the city to take this property and have it for future purposes.
And I appreciate that, and agree that it would, if we were going to spend that much money for just a small amount more, the entire property would then belong to the city rather than just having access to a portion of it. Can you have, or can you cause to have the paperwork for us at the next meeting to move forward with that? As tonight it's just discussion, is that correct?
Yes, tonight is discussion. We just got the data today, but we certainly can have the information, have it ready for the next council meeting, if that's the desire of the committee, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, is there a way that we could expedite this? Because, you know, we did last month talk about having a special call meeting if needed to proceed on this. You know, I'd like to consider that if possible, because we did talk about that, I think, at one time.
Mr. Chair, City Clerk has just reminded me that there's a good chance that we will have a special call meeting within the next week to discuss some refinancing of some bonds for City Corps. It may be that we could have the documentation ready at that time for the council consideration.
That is the request, if I understand it, of the Finance Committee, that we have that added to the agenda for the next special call meeting. Is there any further discussion from the committee on item number 5? Hearing none, we move on to item number 6, which is discussion of the city's infrastructure, the city sewer, Hickey Pool, and the drainage of the creeks, ditches, et cetera. I think that was presented by Councilmember Mark Tripp.
Mr. Chairman, just in the sake of time and so forth, I'd like to move to table this till our next scheduled Finance Committee meeting.
Okay, I'll second that. There's a motion and second to table item number 6. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Anything else from the Finance Committee for this meeting right now? Hearing none, Mayor, we yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like, Ms. Graham's not here yet, but she would like to get a picture of the council in its entirety, hopefully before the council meeting starts, to put in the, in our time capsule that we're going to talk about during the council. So if you would just stay put for just a minute, let Ms. Graham take a picture of the council, I would appreciate it. Meeting is adjourned.
Is that as a group?
You do not have to if you don't want to.